welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. In this particular episode, I'd like to talk about the E-2 and how you know if you can actually apply for it. So I've got lots of other videos on the different areas of the E-2, such as the substantiality of the investment, the marginality of it, the percentage of the ownership, and so forth. But the bottom line here is unless you are from a treaty country, you are not going to be able to apply for the E-2. So for example, if you're from India, no E-2 treaty with India, so you can't do it. It doesn't matter if you have $10 million in your pocket, you're not going to be able to do an E-2. But if you're a citizen of Pakistan, right next door, you can do an E-2. And many times, the investment for the E-2 could be, 50 to 100,000 US dollars. Come open your own company, be an entrepreneur, and so forth. Now, the countries that are listed on the treaty country list is not set in stone. If you look at when the first treaty was made, and then look at ones that were made thereafter, you can see as the years go on, the list of E-2 countries is getting bigger. Well, a new one was just added, and that's Israel. Before this time, Israel was allowed to do what's called the E-1, which is treaty trader visa, which in some respects is considerably harder because you have to have your own company and you have to show substantial trade and all this other stuff. You can't just, plop a bunch of money down and invest in a company and start your own business or buy a business in operation. However, the E-2 has now been approved through treaty with Israel, and now citizens of Israel can apply for the E-2. They can also apply for a change of status in the U.S. So if they have a current status here, let's say they're here on B2, which is visitor, or F1, which is student, and they want to start their own business, they can now do a change of status to E2, and USCIS has specifically said that they now will consider those applications. Additionally, if you are in the U.S. and you want to get the visa of the E2, you being a third country national, for example, from Israel, from any other country that's eligible for an E-2, you can go up to Vancouver or Toronto and apply there. The actual majority of E-2 people applying in Canada are third country nationals that don't want to go back. So you don't have to take a 20-hour flight, for example, back to Israel to have the interview with the E-2 if you're not inadmissible on any other grounds. So this is a good development. So even with all the anti-immigration that's going on and all the ways that immigration is becoming more difficult to process, the expansion of the E-2 has just occurred, adding another country. And the hope is that as time goes on, more countries will be added, more people will be able to become investors and entrepreneurs in the U.S. in order to have their dream of becoming a business owner. And just keep in mind, one error that I always seem to run across is a lot of people who want to apply for the E-2, they go, well, I just don't have $1 million. Well, you don't need $1 million. That's for the EB-5. But for the E-2, 50,000 to 100,000, more closer to the 100,000, but that's a lot less than $1 million, will allow it. So, if you're in, this new country of Israel, which is newly added, and you have the funds, or you want to sell, some assets and so forth in Israel in order to get the funds, let me know. Give me a call, and I will be able to direct you on what needs to be done, the procedures, and so forth. Okay, if you like the video, click like, subscribe, and more on the coming videos.